Expressions are used throughout report design. Even the simplest of all reports will contain expressions. Expressions are also used to implement custom conditional logic, business logic, and even advanced reporting functions. So expressions are important, but your use of expressions will really depend on how advanced and complex your reports need to be. Let's review a few different ways that expressions are used in reports. Expressions can be used to implement simple aggregations. When you drag and drop a field onto a report body, that will produce a text box with an expression that has an aggregate function, maybe a sum or a first, depending on the data type of the field, because that field from the data set needs to be distilled to a single value within the report. When you drag and drop or select a field within a data region, like a table, if it's grouped, then it will also create an aggregate expression. So expressions are used to define groups as well as set properties of groups, like the sorting expression for a group. And then, of course, when you use fields within a group, that's going to create an aggregate expression, as I previously mentioned. Expressions can be used to create calculated fields. Now, calculated fields can be added to a data set's field definition so that we can add additional named fields to a data set using calculations that reference other fields, or we can perform calculations in place within a data region, which we'll see in the upcoming demonstration. Conditional formatting can be implemented using expressions by making decisions about different field values. We can change the weight of a font, we could change the color of text, we could change the background color as to highlight a cell or highlight a row. There are a lot of different ways that we can manipulate properties using expressions, implementing conditional formatting. We can also conditionally hide and show report items, which makes the report experience more rich and dynamic for the user. So we can hide and show rows, hide and show columns, or hide and show other report items within a report, really giving us the ability to create one report that serves a lot of different business needs. And then finally, as we raise the bar quite a bit, you can actually write custom functions and programming logic within your reports using Visual Basic.NET programming code. And then you can call into that code and call those functions using expressions. So as you can see, there's a very wide spectrum of opportunity to use expressions. We'll take a look at a couple of expression examples. Expressions are used to set properties, and so they really only make sense within the context of what we're trying to do, what property we're trying to set. So the first example I have here as a calculation performed with aggregations might be used to set the value property of a cell within a table. You'll see this within the demonstration. But here we have two different aggregate expressions. We're taking the sum of a field in its natural state, meaning whatever we're grouped on at the time, and then dividing that by the sum of that same field at a particular group value. So I can say explicitly, go get the sum of this field, called sum total excluding tax, at the month level, and then use that as my denominator for, let's say we're at the customer level, so I could see what the ratio of my customer sales are for the entire month. For the conditional formatting example, this is an expression that would be used to set the color property of a cell, and you'll also see this in the demonstration where we'll say if my total is greater than a certain value, in this case 200,000, then that color property is going to be green. If it's less than 50,000, it'll be red, otherwise it'll be black. So expressions can be used for a variety of different things. We're going to take a look at two different demonstrations back to back. The first one, we'll take a look at the expressions that I just showed you within the context of a table report, and then we'll transition to another demonstration where we'll talk about matrix reports, and you'll see an example of a matrix report very similar to the table report we've been working with. So let's go ahead and take a look at that first demonstration, simple expressions.